Hi everyone. These lights are so bright. I got some new like light panels. I don't know if you guys remembered like maybe 3 lives ago. I told you my ring light kind of broke. So I got new lights. I got these like really wicked awesome light panels, but they are bright as hell. Like this is 8%, right? This is 50%. This is 6%. So I'm still finagling with them, trying to find the right levels. All right, guys. So I'm going to go ahead and get started with the community reading. I am going to use a combination of the Universe Has Your Back Oracle. It's a new one to me, and this is an old school one that I'm pulling out. The Spellcasting Oracle. This is that was like one of the first ones I got. Let me get a nice shuffle going. So I have my lovely mod in the chat, Luke, and Hot Sun, who is a veteran of the channel, will help you guys get into the queue as I get the deck shuffled. I totally appreciate you guys' help. Thank you so much, Hot Sun. It helps Luke from going crazy to have a backup. Oh no. This deck is very new. So this one kind of has like a bend already to it, but I think it came to me that way. So it doesn't want to riffle. Hi guys. Hi Sean. Hi Starry. See if you folks have already made it into the queue. You can thank your lovely mods for the help. I do some, I would say moderately length, regular length, shorter 3-card readings, and then if you would like more details, I have a mini and a full. You can see on the screen here that I have. You can use !tip to see my link pulled up. Hi Ruby. I like that. I don't remember setting it up that you get a shout out from Streamlabs, but I'm happy that Past Brittany did that for you. All right, let's get into the community read. Let's see what kind of energy we have starting off our night. And I apologize in advance. I might have to take a quick DRB because I have a delivery coming. It was supposed to be earlier, but as you guys saw, a lot of things kind of got discombobulated. All right, let's see what energy we have around us as a community. Think about yourself. Think about the week behind. Think about the energy you want to take into the weekend. Just sit and reflect as I shuffle the cards. Let's see what our first card is. First card for the community. We have thank you, universe, for helping me see beyond the limits of fear. Thank you for expanding my perceptions so I can see what is of the highest good. So, what is of the highest good for you guys? Was it something that happened this week? Is it something you're hoping that will happen in the future? Or is it something that you are manifesting right now or trying to make happen right now? Some sort of goal you're trying to achieve? Oh no, it does say thank you for clarifying. Huh. I'll have to go fix that. Thank you, Hot Sun. Let's see what other energy we have. I'll do one more from this deck and then I'm going to switch to the other oracle. I love this. Joy is the ultimate creator. So maybe as a community, we are just overall, we have the energy of searching for joy, searching for happiness. And I think really what it boils down to is, just understanding that the highest good is the things in our lives that make us happy, the things that help relieve burden in our lives. And it just seems really easy, right? Where it's not something that you have to struggle to do or accept or be around or things like that. It's just something that can be a nice, seamless piece of the puzzle of our lives. Let's see here. We have protection. I think this is a sign that you need to protect your joy, protect your happiness. There are things in life, not necessarily even people around us, just the way life is as an adult. Sometimes that it just threatens your joy, threatens your happiness, and allow yourself, oops, you can't see that, allow yourself some forgiveness. We're not perfect. We are human after all. And I think as a community, it's just a reminder that, you might make some missteps, but that's what life is about. It's about learning from those missteps and growing from them and being able to reshape them into something that actually works for you. And let's pull one more card. Courage. I think this is a great card to end on, and it rounds us off. And this is just saying, in your journey to reinforce the joyful things in your life and the happy moments in your life, and being able to protect those moments and finding forgiveness when sometimes those moments might feel like they're slipping away or have slipped away. Just be courageous. Just understand that those moments happen and unapologetically accepting the joy in our lives, especially when things, how things are right now, can feel a little bleak. It takes some courage to do that in times when the world feels like it's fighting against you. So let me read off who I have in the queue. I have Hot Sun, SK, Cherry Blossom, Mark, Starry, Sean, and Silk, Sihle, Sil Sibia. If you didn't hear your name, use !join to join the queue. And remember, I don't do third-party readings, so I will not ask how someone feels about you, what their intentions are, or anything of the sort. If you want to know that, go ask them yourselves or go find a scammer on TikTok. Alrighty. Hot Sun, go ahead and put your question in the chat. And for being so helpful, I'm going to pull a card from the universe to see what the universe has your back on. Let's get this deck all warmed up. Oh, I didn't say what deck I'm using. Tarot deck. I'm using My old faithful, the Game of Thrones Tarot. This is like um one of the older decks in my collection. This is one of the decks. This is the deck that I used when I did my very first like in-person party event. So it has a special place in my heart, and I'm happy to bring it out for you guys because I love my YouTube community as well. All right. So you talked a couple of days after last live, just the energy about what's going on between you guys. Let's just get some general. This is going to be a little agnostic. This is going to just be an affirmation for you from the universe. Hatsan, this first card here, just as an appreciation for being so helpful in the chat. All right, just. Okay, this says, when I focus on my inner light, I see the world through a lens of love. So I feel like this is just saying that you have an inclination, your natural way of being is to find the joy and love and happiness and connection with people. And you're just perhaps very good at that. It could hint a little bit at being very empathetic. And it helps you connect with you feel like, I take it all back. I take everything I said back, Hatsan. You feel like they could have made the Game of Thrones deck better? Tell me in what way. I'm going to pull your cards, but I'm curious. This is actually one of my favorite pop culture decks out. Okay, let's see what the general energies are. All right, so you have the Judgment card, the Tower, and the Five of Wands. Spears is wands in this deck for anyone unfamiliar. Hey Ari, welcome to the queue. So I think the conversation really shined a light on how things really are between you guys. It really brought some clarity, I think, to both of you guys in where you guys truly stand with yourselves. And I think there's just a general understanding that the breakdown between you guys has to happen or has already happened. I'm not totally sure on that aspect with this Tower here in the center, but at the core of it, what this is saying is that at the end of the day, there's a need for you guys to just really get down to the bare bones of y'all's like connection and understand it better and see how things are at its foundation and whether it's worthwhile to build up from there. Because with the Five of Wands here, it indicates that this is not going to be an easy process. So it really invites you guys, I think you really, Hatsan, right? This reading being for you, it really invites you to reflect on how things have gone, how you guys are doing at building from foundational periods, right? Like actually pulling down those walls, pulling down those expectations, those preconceived notions, all of that, like just going to the bare raw connection between you guys and determining if it's something that is worth fighting for. The Tower can be a little scary because it also insinuates a little bit that, a lot of it, honestly, that there are sudden changes that are going to be happening between you guys that you may not necessarily be fully prepared for. I think paired with the Judgment card, though, it alleviates a little bit of that in the sense that you do have that understanding of how things are, at least from that aspect, but it doesn't alleviate the fact that things are changing between you guys very quickly. And I think at the, like, if I were to boil this down, what's changing between y'all is the willingness to break things down between you guys, so it's not like, for example, let me give a quick example. Um, it's not like, you guys talk and you go back into the same old cycles and um starting where you left off. It's more so like almost a fresh start, but I don't want to say a fresh start. Because it's really like understanding that you're taking those lessons learned from previous experience and bu- pulling down all those walls and building up based off of that understanding. Thank you, Luke, for helping. So you said that you think that it looks too much like the labyrinth. It does a little bit, but I feel like, so I'm gonna actually flip that on you. I feel like the Labyrinth in Lord of the Rings did a poor job of mimicking the artwork in this, but openly admit I'm biased. And this technically came out first, so but I feel I I'm just joking with you for the most part. I'm only judging a little bit. Alrighty, SK, you are up next. SK, literally, Luke just explained I don't do those readings. I agree, Hot Sun. I think Lord of the Rings is definitely the best out of them. I think it's also a different publisher. I don't remember the Lord of the Rings publisher, but I think the other two are the same inside editions. Yeah, I don't do people's feelings or intentions. It's one of my moral boundaries. I mean, it kind of feels a little skeevy to me in like, oh, let me read this person's diary, and I don't fully trust other readers that do readings like that. I used to do them when I was like a newbie on live because I thought that it was like an obligation, but as I've explored my own moralities and ethics as a reader, I don't do them anymore. Yeah, I'm glad they didn't. I'm glad they went with like the generic artwork of like you kind of know who people are, right? Obviously Brienne of Tarth and like I'm running out of people. Obviously Sam, but they didn't make it look like the people. Like that was one of my issues with Stranger Things deck. Oh, they botched that deck so bad. I'll never get over that. All right, let's see what's going on with your admission to FMS Delhi. Oh god, it was so disappointing. Not your reading, sorry, the Stranger Things deck. I was looking forward to it and it was all let down. So, SK, you have no, and Q maxes out around 10, so you just kind of have to wait as I go through the queue. So you have the Emperor, the Ace of Cups, and the Four of Cups. Um, I think that this looks pretty promising for this. Did you already apply, or did you only do the exams to prep for application? So I want to make sure I'm framing this properly. Basically, I asked because the center of your reading is the Ace of Cups. Emotionally, this is really, it's like feeling like, yes, emotionally invested in something that I'm starting fresh in, and it insinuates you starting down a new path. And it overall, that's a great sign. I just want to make sure that I frame the response to whether you've already applied or that you're still doing the testing and are going to apply. Because I like to give you guys some actionable things to do. Awesome. Okay, perfect. So with the Ace of Cups in the middle of your reading, based off of you saying you're doing some prep, uh, the overall theme, I think, to be successful in this is the Emperor, and then your warning a little bit is the Four of Cups. So the Emperor he's very regimented and creates a lot of order in his life. So I think that in your prep for this, um, try to map out, like, so I'm gonna give you some actionable advice based off of what I see from the cards. So from now to when you have to test and when you have to apply, map out what that looks like. When do you have to study? When do you have to go to, I don't know, like prep sessions? When do you have to apply? What does the application process look like? What do you have to pull together? Start to pull together the reality of the situation ahead of you, because this is what the Emperor is good at, and I think that that's going to be a pivotal part of your path going forward. And I love that you say that about staying consistent. That's absolutely correct. Stay consistent. Um, One of the things that I'll warn against with the Four of Cups here is about the sense of like apathy and feeling like in this time period you end up so hyper focused you miss out on things emotionally, right? So there's a balance that I see here. While the Emperor is very regimented, he has a plan. Also, plan in things, if we're going back to our community read, plan in things that make you happy, because there's a balance and it helps relieve the stress from your mind. It helps to just emotionally open you up and allows you to balance between the stress of studying, the stress of just life in general, and then still having that balance that you can relieve some of it. So I think that your path is looking good. It's looking promising, especially because you said you're already working on building consistency. It's just a matter of maybe in that consistency having a plan that you're being consistent on, and being sure to build in moments where you can relax a little and open yourself up to fun opportunities, right? Don't don't feel like you can't enjoy yourself just because you are hunkered down for studying. But yeah, with the Ace of Cups, great sign there for you. Yeah, I think with the Emperor, it's really, you might want to avoid the um, procrastination as a professional procrastinator. Alrighty, sorry. Go ahead, put your question in the chat. Yeah, my queue max is out at 10. I would have to close the queue and reopen it to make it more. So, in my mind, they're free readings. If you would like a guaranteed spot, you can use exclamation point "VIP" and choose between a donation, a mini read, or a full read to skip the queue. You're welcome, SK. Good luck. Ugh, exams are so stressful. I remember those days. All right, guys. Are you guys doing anything fun for the weekend? Last call for Starry. All right, there we go. Okay, let's see what we can do to help get some positive results. I like that you're open up to spell work. Let's see what the tarot says. Let's see what you can do, Starry. All right, one more card. All right. So you have sorry, my deck, I accidentally shuffled in some reversals. Not that that's necessarily a problem, but I don't shuffle them into this deck and it annoys me. So you have the Hermit, the Moon, and the Seven of Cups. So a few things here. I think there are a few things that you can do. Some are, I think, spiritual, in terms of like more witchcraft based. Some are just like some I don't know what to call it, like more mundane, so to speak. So with the Hermit, I think that if you still have some things you can do to influence getting positive results with WP, I would suggest, based off of the Hermit and the Seven of Cups, to really sit and reflect on the different options you have around you. So I feel like you might have already done a few things, but there might be some other things available to you that you can do in the mundane side. Now, spiritually, with the Moon in the center, I think that this is going to be a much more influential thing. So the Moon in general is, I'm going to take this both literally and then also the tarot side. So the tarot side really tells us to, with the Moon, trust our intuition on things. So intuitively, how have you been navigating this whole process with your organization, and how have you been trusting yourself during that process? That's part of what the Moon is asking us. And then the other part with the Moon, I take a little literally, and I'm going to pull up my Moon app. I think that you should focus on this next new moon. I don't know what your timing is, but next Saturday is the new moon. So focus on maybe doing something during the new moon, whether it's like just general manifestations, if that's something you do, or it could be an actual like success spell, or um, think of some other ideas for you, like um, like a road opener. Ooh, that's what I was trying to get at. Might be the perfect timing for that. So I think that this is a combination of mundane and also a little bit of timing for you to do something a little more spiritual. And I think the combination of the two things for you is that as you reflect on the different options you have available to you, especially when it comes to like the different options and results that you could get. I'm sure there's like some nuance in that, not truly really understanding what WP is and the organizations or the results you're looking for. I'm sure there's some sort of nuance there. So reflect on that, imagine it, and then I think in the new moon is this is where you decide on the combination of things that you want, and you start to really put into it's looking into your finances. I mean, I guess, yeah, if they're still looking, I think, just to give you some examples of what I mean by the mundane, if they're still looking, if this isn't like an ongoing process, obviously, don't uh do silly things, for example, or if they sometimes they reach out for extra information during that. So it's just, I guess it's a matter of, oh, 6 weeks. Ugh, ugh. Been there, done that. It's not fun. But yeah, I think that maybe this is just, uh, yes, the moon can be some hidden stuff. But mm, it can be, but I don't want you to worry looking at this. I don't want you to worry that it's like, oh, this hidden thing that they uncovered and now you're out. It doesn't feel like that. It's just more so uncovering, I would say, like tapping into your own intuition to uncover the hidden things that are available to you in being paired with the Seven of Cups. I mean, I don't know the details of it. There doesn't seem to be in this reading a level of mistrust, and honestly, I didn't feel that. That's not to say that that's not true. I mean, I'm a girl slinging cards on the internet, and you know your company and organization better than I do. But it doesn't feel like mistrust has this like a little bit of malicious context that I don't necessarily feel in this reading. I think it's just them wanting to do their due diligence. Their job is to find inconsistencies. And I think that, being honest and reflective and introspective when you can in those moments would really go a long way. And perhaps this can also be them being able to present you with different options based off of how you are responding. But I will say, magically, I still do recommend you doing some workings around the full moon. I think it's a great opportunity to open you up to with the magic word there, and I'm going to get on a little bit of a soapbox. Sorry. Who told you that you were hexed or cursed by some woman? I'm generally leery when people say that they've been hexed or cursed by someone. In my experience, which is very anecdotal, I think maybe 1 out of every 15 times has that ever been true. And what ends up actually happening is that people freak themselves out so much into that it ends up building up their own bad energy. So voodoo is not a negative practice, it's just an a religion. And if someone is claiming to do voodoo on you, they don't know what they're talking about because voodoo is not a negative practice. So that's also another red flag in that people are, yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and finish this. Also, black magic, hyper racist. Um, Anybody claiming to do quote unquote black magic, they're scamming you, bro. I promise you. Alrighty, Sean, you're up next. And let me read off the queue. I know some of you guys were a little confused. We have Sean up first, then Mark, then Silly Sibia. Hopefully I'm saying that right. Oh my God, Shravani, Ari, Ruby. Oh, you joined the queue, Ruby. Awesome. Denija, let's see, Musfira, and then Ans Human. Hopefully I didn't butcher you guys' names too badly. If I did, I'm so sorry. Feel free to phonetically spell your names in the chat. I'm so bad with names in general, so yay. How have you been, Ruby? What's been going on? Do you have any shameless plugs you want to put in the chat about your channel? All right, sorry, let's see. Oh, our first repeat of the night. Next card. And last card. So you have the Four of Cups, Ten of Cups, and the Two of Swords or Two of Wands in this deck. I reversed it because you have a lot of water energy here. This is fire energy. It just doesn't, it conflicts with each other. So I went ahead and reversed that. I'll start in the middle and then work my way out. So you ultimately, the relationship seems like at the core of it to truly be about love. I think that there is love there. I just the 10 combined with the Four of Cups gives me a little pause about the future of it. I don't see like truly malicious things, but it does feel what's a good word? I just want to remind people, please don't make major life decisions based off of what I'm telling you. A girl's slinging cards on the internet, right? So it feels very stagnant, and even though there is love in the core of it, I don't know that it's quite enough. The Four of Cups is a very emotionally disconnected card. It feels very much like, yeah, you might love them, but you're just emotionally unfulfilled in a lot of ways. And I don't mean you specifically. I just think the relationship as a whole is just emotionally unfulfilling. Um, and maybe you guys are trying, but you're not on the same page. So when one party tries, the other one is not receptive, and vice versa. So I feel like, between the Four and Ten of Cups here, it's just there's the desire to want to want things to be better, but I just don't know that it's happening. The tend to also insinuate like this closing of a chapter, which worries me a little bit because uh, tens are the end of the numerical minor arcana before we get into the court cards. So it's really the end of that journey where you can kind of put a pin in things and being paired with the Four of Cups and then followed by the Two of Wands makes it feel like this is like closing the book, so to speak, right? Not closing one chapter and starting into the next. So, the Two of Wands is about looking ahead to the future and making plans and really wanting to make decisions on how you want, based off of how you want the future to look like. But in reverse, I don't think that's happening. It's more like, you're worried about making any more changes and those changes not working out and just exacerbating the situation that you're in. So it feels very much like a roadblock where you're in this space right here, and instead of being able to plan your way out of it, you just avoid it, because I'm assuming this is sort of me zooming out from what I see in the tarot. I'm assuming that there's a fear of like shaking the house of cards, so to speak, and worrying that things would come crumbling down if you rock the boat too much. And instead you just kind of want to play it safe, go really low key, and you just kind of live in this cycle of the Four and Ten of Cups. It's one of those things, like, if I were to give my unsolicited opinion about what I see about the tarot, it doesn't feel like it's insurmountable. It feels like you have the ability to work it out. You just have to really decide that you are going to flip the energy of the Two of Wands upright and actually make objectable plans on how you're going to handle each other in the future and how to make things a little bit better between you guys. And that's not to say that things are going to go back to the way they were, because it may or may not. It's kind of separate from this reading, but it's just to say at least you're moving forward now. Alrighty, Mark, you are up next. Oh, you have a kid with them? I mean, I feel like that can definitely complicate things in a sense, but I don't think it changes the crux of the reading. Sorry, no. So I have Cherry Blossom. I'm gonna go ahead and close the queue for a little bit, actually. I may or may not open it up. We'll see how I feel. We have Cherry Blossom after Mark, who is up. Mark is up now. We have then followed by Cherry Blossom, Philly, Shravani, then you are Ruby, Denny, Musfira, and Human. You're welcome, Sean. All right, let's see how things look for the future job-wise for you. So this is a solid movie for you. It's not it's not something outside of the scope of capability with this 9 of coins, and I love that you just threw in stable because the 9 of coins, 9 of pentacles being at the center of your reading really insinuates this ability to find something very stable, something that is lucrative in what you're looking for, right? Everyone's lucrative is different, but feeling like you are comfortable, you have something that you can live with and be happy with. Um, that is something that is not outside of your reach. It's just you have some work to do to get there. So the 8 of cups sort of tells me that you might be emotionally invested in a specific career path that might be a little too difficult to get into at this stage of things. This is one of those readings that pops up from time to time where I'm just like, oh, there's definitely something going on a little deeper here with this 8 of cups, that I would normally explore in a more detailed reading. But I think just intuitively, I think that this is saying that you kind of have to accept that about the career path that you're in, even though you're emotionally you really want that specific path. You kind of have to pivot a little bit. 8 of cups is about emotionally walking away from things. I don't think that this means necessarily forever, especially mirrored here with the death card. I think it's just for the here and now, especially because you have this qualifier on your reading of soon. Soon means that you don't have the time to necessarily curate as much as you want. So if you are really, really wanting to fall in that soon category, then this 8 of cups moment has to happen. With the death card, I think that means that this is going to, as I mentioned before, be a little temporary. I think that the death is transformative. So I think that this means that you are going to rediscover yourself by pivoting a little bit, and it'll reshape how what your career options look like going forward. So let me give you some examples, right? You said you really want an office job, right? So I'm sure there's something very specific about the office job that you would like. And say, I'm just throwing out examples, and then just so you can kind of see what I'm getting at with this 8 of cups. Say you really want an office job that is, the classic 9 to 5, and you don't have to deal with too many people. Well, you might get an office job where you have to deal with a lot of customers and talk to people. Not like customer service jobs, but like you have people that you work for and you have to work with them very often. Or you might get an office job that is not 9 to 5. Maybe it's a different shift. So just be a little open and a little flexible in that aspect, because maybe taking that off shift means that in a few months that job is going to transform and you're going to get that job that you wanted before. So when you're applying, when you're looking, while you're looking, consider those options. I think that's really what it's asking of you. Alrighty. So Cynthia, you are up next. Oh, I'm sorry, Cherry Blossom. I clicked the wrong thing. Or I clicked the right thing. I said the wrong thing. Cherry Blossom, you are up next. Yeah, guys, my queue is closed for a little bit. I may or may not open it up. I usually stay on for an hour, but I've been trying to flex my muscles, so to speak, and stay on a little longer. You're welcome, Mark. Good luck. Job hunting is so exhausting. Wish you all the luck in the world. Yeah, it really, really is. So, Kisna, I don't do those kind of readings. So when your turn comes, if I open my queue up again, I will not do that reading. I don't do third party readings. All right, last call for Cherry Blossom before I go on to the next one. Keeping an eye on my delivery, guys. I might have to do a quick pause in like 5 minutes. Alrighty, no worries. I'll remove you from the queue. Or you can use exclamation point leave, whichever. Alrighty, still Sibia, you are up next. Yeah, I went on to the next person. It's okay. People tend to leave sometimes. That's on them. That's the curse of opening up my lives to non-subscribers. I get a lot of folks in the queue. Yeah, Ari, it's weird to want someone to open and close because, like, what kind of life do they have? Like, if you close one day and then open the next, like, are you just working for essentially like 24 hours? What the hell is that? All right, last call for Sibia. And human. Don't worry, I got this. Alrighty, Ari, you are up next. Go ahead, put your question in the chat. I feel like finding any job, first, second, third, or millionth is hard nowadays. So I have Ari up now. She's working on putting her question in the chat. And then I have Ruby, Denaja, Musfira, and Antshuman. So the folks in the queue, let me know you guys are still in the chat. Otherwise, I might not give you second calls. I might just skip ahead. So that counts as a third party reading because if he's doing it on purpose or all of that, that's his business. Why he disappeared, his business. Okay, while you figure out your question, thank you, Ruby, for letting me know. I will be RB, guys. Alrighty, I am back. I think I'll go ahead and I have the stamina. Go ahead and open the queue back up for a little bit. Um, yes, Sibia, you did. You can rejoin if you use exclamation point join. Yes, I can definitely see about about trusting him. Ari. So let me clarify as I reshuffle and rewarm up my deck. To me, third-party readings are if you're asking about someone else and you have zero control over whatever answer you get. So, like someone's intentions, you have no control over that. Like they either like you or you don't, or whatever. You might be able to influence it over time, but a better question would be, how can I better connect with so and so? Like, for example, right? So that's why Ari, I didn't like if he's ghosting you, so what? What can you do about it, right? One of the reasons I started doing tarot is around empowerment and self-care and self-worth and self-love. And as I've gotten more confident doing my lives, I don't like to stray so far away from the reason I started to do tarot and offer it to people. But understanding if you can trust someone puts a lot of onus on you in how you handle the situation going forward, right? It gives you the information you need to take some actionable steps, and it gives you advice on how to move forward. All right, let's see. Next card. Here we go. Next card. Here we are. Alrighty. So we have the Sun, the Page of Swords, and then the Four of Coins. Okay. Sorry, I had to kind of sit with that one a little bit. So I reversed the Sun and the Page of Swords because I feel like they go hand in hand, and the Four of Coins conflicts, but this intuitively feels more upright than the others. So I'll just start in the beginning and work my way out, since this is your major arcana card here. Excuse me, oh my god. So with the Sun card, I don't think that there is any reason to oh, thank you, Cat Goddess. Appreciate that. I don't think there's any reason for you starting with this being your major arcana, being the most influential over your reading. I don't think there's any reason for you to trust Ricky. Not now, probably not ever. The Sun, generally upright, is like a warm, inviting card, a card of growth and happiness. But in reverse, it's like all of that is stripped away. It's just overall like negativity, overall sadness. It's the polar opposite of the Sun card in the upright. And I think that it's just blocking out the positivity at the end of the day. And then paired here with the Page of Swords, who is usually so curious and effervescent and just excited for like just excited about the new insightful things that are going to come their way, is instead being like it feels like they're being manipulated into certain things and manipulate or talked into um thinking about certain things a certain way, and it just overall resets the overall mentality of things. So I don't feel like this is any kind of energy that you want to trust. Instead, here with the four of coins here at the end of your reading, this really insinuates that you really need to protect your energy. Um the four of coins is about being a little stingy with your energy, about where you focus yourself overall, especially in how you're interacting with the world around you. So I would say there's probably, and also I will add, um, four of coins, four of pentacles, earth energy, very rooted, very solid, very long lasting energy. So I think this is saying to hang on to that for a while. And I don't think this is a sign that you would ever open yourself up to trusting this person again. Again, like I like to mention, I'm a girl slinging cards on the internet. Future is nebulous, things change, but I don't see that being a healthy situation in the long run. I love that, a private VIP valet service. Alrighty, Ruby. Ooh, we had a Kofi support from Techie. Yeah, I saw that, Techie. Go ahead, put your question in the chat, and then Ruby, I will get you right after that. So I don't do third-party readings, even with tips, but I can see, Techie, the energy between y'all, and just as a thank you for tipping, I'm going to pull. I'm gonna pull a card to see what does the universe have your back on. Ooh, here we go. This card popped up earlier. That's crazy. No worries. So the moment I embrace my peace within, I surrender the outcome. Is the moment that the universe can truly get to work. So just keep in mind about embracing your own peace, not worrying so much about how things are going to turn out, and yeah, that will go a long way with the universe. Alrighty, let me pull a quick oracle card. So dreams. Let's pull one more. See how it relates to the tarot in a second. Dreams and justice. Alrighty. Hey, Midnight. Yeah, I'm hanging out for a while. Queen Luna has not come and told me to get off live. And if you guys don't know who Queen Luna is, she's my cat. And she generally around this time demands that I get off a live stream. So Mama's here to play because the kids have not come to bother her. Okay, Techie, let's see what the energy is around you guys. Four of Swords. We have a lot of fours popping up. I'm going to put this up even though I'm not reading about that, just so I have something to focus on. We have our repeat Page of Swords here. Next card. Whoops. card. She who must not be named. That is definitely her. Ooh, and Eight of Swords. Okay, so you have all swords here. Swords are not inherently bad. I think just when it comes to things emotionally, it's just not necessarily as reassuring. Um, so Four of Swords, Page of Swords, Eight of Swords. It really insinuates to me, especially paired with, oh gosh, what was it? Justice and Dream. Paired with the Justice and Dream card, it feels very much like you're in your head about the entire relationship, and that the emotional, if there's anything emotionally bonding you guys at all, it doesn't feel like it's necessarily there. Um, I don't think this person, I wouldn't go as far to say that this person has it out for you or anything like that. I think that there's a combination of a level of indifference, compounded on like, maybe a little bit of comparison between you guys. I don't know if you guys work in the same department or work in competing departments or anything like that, but like, I think that the Four of Swords is almost, I feel like it's almost literally saying, like, chill out, right? Like, relax. And the idea of everything mirrored with the Eight of Swords, which is sort of like saying you're putting your own, you're manifesting your own anxieties about things, or your own, I don't want to say it's necessarily anxieties, but something, it may not be that might be a little too much, but stressors in general. And I think that, this is like a reminder that if you chill out and relax, the universe has your back. Put out good energy, you get good energy back, especially with this Justice. And even though in this deck the Page of Swords looks a little ominous, the Page of Swords is actually really, really great. Really great card. The pages in general are studious. They are curious about things. They're just, and the Page of Swords specifically is brimming with ideas and really just wanting to expand their knowledge, wanting to learn more and ingest everything that they can. So I don't think that there's anything inherently going on. I think it's just maybe if this person works with you, they might be trying to get close to you to learn, but you're freaking yourself out a little bit. And just kind of go with the flow a bit. I don't see anything malicious, even though this guy, now I've never really noticed it before, but this guy looks really ominous for a Page of Swords. I can see that card being like a Justice card. The facelessness of, thanks for subscribing, Brent. Alrighty, Ruby, now you're officially up. You're welcome, Techi. I like your username. That's really fun. I feel like it would be a cool name in like a cyberpunk future. All right, let me read off who I have in the queue. So Ruby is up next. Then I have Deneja, Musfira, and Scumin. Still Sibia rejoined the queue. Base Cow, Cat Goddess, and then Brent. I feel like a few of those people aren't in the queue anymore, so people at the end of the queue, don't freak out. I think that we'll probably skip past a few people. Okay. Any advice? Let's see. Message advice for the upcoming weeks. It doesn't need to be precise timing. To be honest, I think that putting time limitations on tarot readings is limiting sometimes. Not intentionally. It's just sometimes that If it's something that doesn't have to happen in a specific time frame, um, you might be limiting the kind of response or answers that you get, right? All right, let's see. Oh no, dropped one. Here we go. Oh, so Luna has been here the whole time. I dropped my card and had to pick it up. She's under the desk, sleeping. She's slacking at her live stream duties. All right, last card, Ruby. There we go. A lot of swords happening here. So we have the Queen of Swords, Two of Wands, and then the Five of Swords. Let's start in the middle. Two of Wands. Twos have this balance, but then there's just, while there's a balance, it's like balancing out two different options and having to make decisions. There's the duality that happens with the twos, and the Two of Wands specifically is about how you are going to make your next moves, right? Choosing between the things that inspire you to move forward, the things that really spark, light that fire under you, so to speak. So I think that the next, honestly, I would say much more near term. This is really asking you or telling you that you're going to have some decisions to make. But while they might be a little mentally stressful for you with this Five of Swords, with the Queen of Swords really indicates that you got this. So the queens are there are confident, intuitive nurturers of our court cards. They understand emotionally where they need to focus things, and the Queen of Swords specifically is hyper intelligent, very logical, and can logically balance out the intellect side of herself and the intuitive side of herself. And in this case, you're using that skill to balance out and weigh the options that you have, and the decisions that you have to make. So I think that over this, with the wands and the swords, feels very near term. Feels like a week, maybe two. Feels more. I don't like to put time frames on things because the future is nebulous, but it feels more near term than not. And I feel like you're going to get to a point soon where you can feel that decisional point. Hey, Siege! Long time no see you live. So I think, Ruby, that your overall advice would be to trust in your own intuition and intelligence during these decisional times. And the overall message is saying that you are going to have this moment where you're going to have to decide on things. It is, I would say the hint here is probably something that has been on your mind for a while. It's been kind of a little turbulent, so to speak, maybe, with this Five of Swords. And just understand that this is going to be, that mental aspect of things is going to be, Luke, it's okay, he knows. Yeah, it's going to be a gating function in how you move past this next step. Let me pull a quick one of these because you're one of my buddies, so you get a card. Okay. When I lean towards love, I am led. So that is just your affirmation, agnostic of the reading, just something I wanted to pull for you. Um, because you are always hanging out in my chat and you're awesome and I love your channel. All right. Denja, you are up next. Haven't heard from them in a while, so I'm gonna kind of speed run through this. Let me read off who I have in the queue, so get ready, guys. Musfira, Human, Sil Sibley, Base Gal, Cat Goddess, Brent, Latoya, and CJ. You're welcome, Ruby. So let me know you guys are still in the chat. Otherwise, I'm gonna speed through this because. Oh, thanks for letting me know you're still here, Human. You're probably gonna make it up next because I don't think the two people ahead of you are here. Technically a few. Technically 6, but probably realistically 3 or 4. All right. One and only chance for Miss Fira. I don't think they've been here for a while. Thank you, Cat Goddess and Latoya, for letting me know you're here. Thank you, Aunt Stephen. I have 10 people hanging out, but I think one of those by default is me. So 8, Luke, 7, 7, and then like Ruby. Yeah, that's probably about right. All right, Seaman, go ahead, put your question in the chat. You are up. Thank you for your patience. I'm going to go ahead and pull a little affirmation card for you while you get your question out. Since you were so patiently waiting for my folks at the end of the queue. Ooh, I honor how I want to feel. That's your little affirmation card. All right, let's see what's coming up. You have the 8 of Pentacles, the 6 of Wands, and the 2 of Pentacles. Ooh, interesting balance here we have. Yeah, thank you for being patient. So I'll start in the middle. This is your unique card in terms of elements here. You have the 6 of Wands at the center of your reading. So I feel like, in regards to your connection with Julie, hopefully I'm saying that right. You're definitely standing out. The 6 of Wands is about really like being noticed socially. And in response to this question, I really feel like, Julie, whatever you're doing or whatever you have been doing, you're starting to be noticed more and more by Julie. So on the other side, I'm unique. As much as I appreciate getting cups in relationship cards, I really, really like Pentacles in relationship cards because there's a sense of like groundedness and rootedness that builds a foundation that you can build upon that I really enjoy. And so on one side, we have the 8 of Pentacles. 8s are about change and just overall, it just means the energy overall is changing. And the 8 of Pentacles specifically is really about starting to set those standards. So as you're being noticed, as you're starting to stand out, some standards, some things are being said. Uh, it's like things are starting to become a little more realized. And if you look at this a little bit more, you can see like there's work happening here. The the Eight of Pentacles, eights in general ask you to put in a little work. So there is a little bit of onus on you as well in regards to how the connection builds from here on out into the future. Right. So it's not just something the universe is going to hand to you. It's going to be something that you also put some work into as well. So now that you know that you're standing out, how can you reinforce the things that you have been doing? How can you do them better? Or how can you do them more frequently? Stuff like that. And then at the end of the reading, we have this Two of Pentacles. I mentioned in the previous reading, I believe, twos are the duality. They're kind of a decisional card where you're presented almost like two different paths to go down. And this one, when it comes to Pentacles specifically, it's asking you how you are going to balance things. So I think what this feels like it's insinuating is that, as you are building things, as you are creating that foundation, you're probably going to get to a decisional point where you have to decide what things are really, really going to look like. How are you going to build balance into this relationship and this connection? How are you going to build structure? It's all of the physical things that come along with a question like this. So Pentacles is the physical world around us. So like, how are you going to adapt to the changes that are being presented to you? Stuff like that. I don't see it as necessarily being something that's just going to fall into your lap. It's definitely going to take a little bit of work on your side. But I think that you have a really great foot in the door, so to speak, between these two cards. And then a combination of these two cards is really saying, okay, you're standing out. You already are. You're already getting a head start here, right? How are you going to keep that momentum, and what decisions are you going to make to keep things moving in the direction that you want to move? So I totally love getting Pentacles in this, because it also insinuates that you guys are starting to do things that are building up a lot of the foundational things that you need in a really, like, in a non-superficial way. And just a reminder, honor how you want to feel in that. So that might be part of your decision making going forward. Alrighty, guys. I know I'm so biased with my Pentacles. I love my Pentacles. Alrighty. Still, Sivia, you are up next. CJ, I have to give you like a private reading one day. Like, we sit down and just do a full, like, non-live in-depth reading. Hey, you're welcome, Nancy Moon. Thanks for hanging out with me tonight. Feel free to continue to hang out if you're free. Listen to other readings and have fun in the chat. I know, Luke, right? I'm so biased. So I don't do how people feel about others. So if you want something else, I can do like the connection between you guys, or like if you want something a little bit more actionable, like what you have to do to get to a certain point, something like that. Just let me know. I know. Maybe I'll remember to bring my tarot cards to our next wine outing, but it has to be before like my third glass. Like I get really good at my first and second glass, and then sharp decline after. All right, let's see what's going on, what the energy is between you and Q. Oh, a new relationship. You guys are actually dating. So you have the Queen of Coins, Queen of Pentacles, Knight of uh Knight of Wands, and then the Three of Cups. You have a little bit of a spread here between Pentacles, Wands, and Cups. Sorry, I'm thinking. This feels a little reversed. Not fully, but I'm going to go ahead and reverse it because I want to talk to it. So, Ruby, honestly, I was exaggerating a little. I said it was a sharp decline. It's not that sharp, but I feel like, at least to me, it's noticeable. So, I feel like we have the Queen of Pentacles, which kind of I feel like intuitively represents you. And I'm going to read through it and you can always correct me. Right? I'm not infallible and I take feedback very well. The Knight of Wands, I feel like, is Q. And then the Three of Cups is just like the overall energy between y'all. Queen of Pentacles, very, very sure of herself. Very, I mentioned in a previous reading, our queens are very intuitive. They are very nurturing. The Queen of Pentacles is the one who is really wanting to nurture the environment around her and grow it in a way that can support and sustain herself, and is very sure of it. There's a bit of a disconnect between the Queen of Pentacles and the Knight of Wands in this reading. Even upright, right? So even upright. Even upright, he's facing you, but you're facing away. And it feels just a little disconnected because of that. But in the reverse, which the energy is a little moderate, it's somewhere in between, in my opinion. But either way, it's even more disconnected. It doesn't get more connected if you get what I'm getting at. The Knight of Wands, very impulsive, detrimentally so. Knights are amazing in that they can set their eyes on something, they set their eyes on the goal, and by golly, they're going to find a way to achieve it. The Knight of Wands is easily inspired, but hard to focus. Very much from one thing to another. There's very little like sustainability in that. There's also in the courts, there's like this inherent, when the court wands are reversed, there's just like this inherent quickness to anger that happens between them in different ways, right? So the Knight of Wands overall is a hothead. They're overly impulsive, very quick to anger, in that, you know, like if they are redirected in a way they don't want to be, they're not going to respond well. And I don't think that works in combination with someone who is the opposite, someone who's very set and stable and very rooted in where they are. They don't want to be pulled in every which way. This doesn't feel necessarily malicious. It just feels like very much a mismatch of energy. Three of Cups insinuates that this overall feels very fun right now. It's into the friend group, really friendly, really exciting, all of that. But at the end of the day, kind of superficial. Um, there is that emotional connection. There is that, but I think at the root of it, there's a disconnect. So it feels. So let me explain a little more. It feels like if this is like relationship goals, not so much. Fly. Ugh. Not so much. Friendship, maybe. It might be one of those friends that annoys the piss out of you because they're always doing something irrational and something that is just like their first thought and they're doing it. Um, but yeah. So I think Sabia, that's up to you to decide at the end of the day what it is that you're willing to deal with and put up with and enjoy and stuff like that. It's not for me to decide. I what I like to do is paint the picture and you figure it out. Alrighty, guys, I went ahead and officially closed the queue. So if you miss your turn from here on out, sorry. Up next, we have Bascal. And then we have Cat Goddess, Brent, Latoya, CJ, and our last but not least, I'll call you Sun. It's not heavy energy. You're welcome. You're very welcome. Thank you for hanging out and being patient. So I'm gonna do the first one. I really feel like the second one is really like a combination of something that you should work with someone that has experience doing something like that, and then it would be something I would be more confident doing like privately, if that makes sense. All right, let's see what you need to learn in order to heal your inner child. I think this is a great prompt, and I think that this could totally lead into that second question. You also have a little bit of a spread happening. Um, so you have the Ace of Wands, Nine of Cups, and the Three of Swords. So I think that when it comes to like, inner child work, I really think that starting with the Ace of Wands, yeah, Ace of Wands here is really saying like in readings like this, sorry, I'm gonna back up a little bit. In readings like this, I feel like there's something in the back of your mind that is hinting at you, and it's like my job to pull it out. And in this case, I think that the Ace of Wands is saying that you have something that has inspired you for a while, something that you have really wanted to um, start focusing on, start like just start down the path towards, and you just haven't yet. Maybe because you feel like if it, in the back of your mind, maybe because it feels like you are doing something a little childish, or maybe because you think that the time to do it has long passed. But I think that is something that you've thought about, and you're like, oh, it's something I either wish I could do, or you've put off doing until the time feels right. But the time is now. So this paired with the Nine of Cups, it's conflicting energy here. We have this fire energy, we have the water energy. They don't, they kind of mute each other out. So I feel like you are letting your, you have a bit of a disconnect between your, whatever that new passionate journey that you want to, that spark that you found that will lead you down this new path. um I feel like it is in conflict with what your mind is telling you will make you happy for some reason. And I think that what has to happen with this Three of Swords is almost like saying, you know, put to rest this conception of happiness, because it's almost um what's the word, manufactured, I guess. It's artificial. It's like an artificial happiness, right? So I mentioned that this felt like a disconnect, and it feels, it's somewhere in between this upright reverse energy where you're flip-flopping, where you're not inherently, things aren't like terrible, right? Like you're not like out on the streets or something. There's good things going for you, but at the same time, it's about reconnecting with yourself emotionally. And I think that you have set, unintentionally set this expectation of what you should feel is emotionally fulfilling, but it is mismatched with what is truly inspiring you. So I think you have to, if we're talking about some things that you have to learn, I think that you need to really explore this path. What does this look like to you, and in reference to your inner child? Well, I don't know what kind of inner child work you do, or if you haven't, or whatever. I'm sure there are some prompts floating around that can help you explore and journal a little bit more about it. But I would definitely reflect on the disconnect here, right? So I think realistically, this is like saying, like, as adults, we're told what should make us happy, but the reality is something else makes you happy, and they don't match well. And there's this overall with the Three of Swords, and I'll kind of end it here with the Three of Swords. There's an overall, I don't want to say grief. It's a little harsh, but there's an overall just heartache over it. It doesn't fit, and things just feel fine, right? They're not like terribly wrong, like I was saying, but they don't feel great either. And I think that's where this Three Swords really fills in. So I would say, like, if I'm going to give you some actionable advice based off of what I'm seeing in the reading, reflect on this like new start, and then also reflect on this combination here of, the things that are supposed to make you happy but don't really, they're not really as fulfilling, and how can you reshape them to better match this. It's definitely not an overnight journey, but I do think that this is, so the cups, much slower energy, swords and wands much faster. So this is probably something that's very obvious and has been with you for a while. This probably has been as well, but this might be something a little deeper that is harder to get over, harder to get beyond because of that slower moving energy there. Yeah, you're welcome. Alrighty, Cat Goddess, you're up next. Love Bug, I'm sorry my queue is closed for the night. I'll be back next week. All right, let's see what kind of guidance your future self has for you, your higher self has for you. As I'm shuffling, just a reminder, I have Brent, Latoya, CJ, and Sanaya. I think Sanaya in the chat. Make sure to let me know that you guys are still here, so I don't just lie for you guys. All right, and let's see, Cat Goddess, what we have. One more question, or one more card rather. Four of Swords is popping up a lot. I feel like it's Midnight 12 or popping into my chat, giving us that Four of Swords energy. You have the Hermit, the Magician, and the Four of Swords. So I think here you're being asked to really think about, thank you, Latoya, for letting me know. Really think about what do you have control over in terms of the things that you pull into your life, the things that you manifest in your life, and it's all of that kind of stuff. What do you feel like you have control over? And really reflect on it. With this Hermit card, the Hermit card's all about introspection, really sitting with yourself and thinking about things in general, but paired with the Magician, I think it's really talking about, like, how have you really, where have you been really putting your energy when it comes to being able to successfully and efficiently and effectively manifest things in your life? And what skills are you not necessarily honing in order to do that even better? The Four of Swords mirrors a little bit of that energy from the Hermit, where if you have actively been doing these things, where you've been really focused on pulling things in and all of that, the Hermit and the Four of Swords is really asking you to slow down a little bit, kind of sit back, relax, reflect, and regain your energy, so that way you can refocus it properly. Because the Magician at the core of your reading insinuates that you have the skills to do it. You just might be a little misguided a bit. You might be touching or hinting at the right things, but you're not diving down deep enough, or you're not reaching like the crux of what it is that you're trying to bring. So it might be that things feel like, so for example, I like to throw in examples for people. It might feel like the things that you bring in feel superficial, don't feel very long lasting, feel very fleeting. And I think that this advice is really giving you the insight into how you can avoid that going in the future. Sorry, I had to sit with that for a second. Okay, Brent, you are up next. Alrighty. And Latoya, go ahead, put your question in the chat. I know you're still here. Yeah, you're welcome, Cat Goddess. Thanks for hanging out. I feel like I haven't seen you in my chat in a while. It's been a hot minute. All right, I'll see what the energy is between you guys. Let's see the energy between you and Tay. Oh, God damn it. One second. Okay. Dropped a card. Had to fish it from under the desk. Okay, let's see. The energy is between you and Tay. We have the Tower, Three of Swords, and Eight of Swords. I'll just be honest. Energy is not great between y'all. I don't think it's going to be great. And if anything, all it does is reflect even more negatively on you. It influences your. It influences you in a negative way with this Eight of Swords here. So the tower doesn't inherently have to be a negative card, but this paired with the Three of Swords really indicates that things are just overall like sorry, Latoya, I'm not quite sure what you mean by that, but no worries about being sorry about anything. So the Tower with the Three of Swords really just indicates a lot of emotionally just really being done with stuff. The Tower, things like I mentioned, things are really, really crumbling down, and it's not. Whereas sometimes, depending what the Tower is paired with, it can be about crumbling down, but like building back up. I don't see any building up here. This is all just very emotionally high energy in a really yeah, a serious shakeup is a great way to put it. So at the core of your reading, you have the Three of Swords. Three of Swords is the quintessential card of just heartache and grief, and I think that this is a sign of grieving a past relationship, and therefore needing to accept that it's over and being able to go through that grieving process and move forward. Otherwise, you are going to be stuck in this entire cycle where on one side things feel like they're always crumbling around you, and the other side it feels like mentally you just can't get out of the little box that you are put in because of it, and you are just in this stressful cycle here. So yeah, I don't really feel like there's anything viable between y'all other than, obviously you still have to interact and be cordial, but in terms of actual connection, not really. Like it's mm, tumultuous, I guess at best is the way I put it. All right, CJ, let me know you're still in the chat and elaborate on your question for me. And then I will finish up with Sanea. Okay, let's see. You're welcome, Latoya. Thanks for hanging out. All right, let's pull one more for you, Siege. Hmm. New beginnings and friendship. One second, let me shuffle some tarot cards for you. Yeah, thank you for hanging out. I appreciate you hanging out with me, Latoya. If you want to catch me next week, set that notification bell so you don't miss me. All right. You have the Knight of Pentacles, the Death card, and the Wheel of Fortune. You definitely have some. You're just zooming out here. You definitely are in a transitional period. I don't think it's inherently bad. I just think transitions can sometimes be a little difficult. So, the Knight of Coins. Well, I kind of want to talk about these a little bit. So you have the New Beginnings card along with the Friendship card, and I feel like it's just indicative of the part of the cycle that your friend circle involves, and just that, as you go through transitional periods, your relationship with friends is going to transition as well. Um, I don't inherently think it's either a good or a bad thing. It's just kind of like a thing that happens. But it does sometimes it can feel very negative if you feel like you are just disconnected or you lose contact, for example, with people. Which sucks, right? I mean, at least from my perspective, I feel like I always hate those periods when I reflect back on them. The Knight of Coins indicates to me, though, that you have your eyes set on something. So this isn't a haphazard transitional period. It's intentional, but maybe you just haven't owned it yet. Knights are ambitious. They have their eyes set on something. They are the achievers of the court cards. They like to set some goals. They want to meet some milestones, so to speak. And the Knight of Coins does it in a way that is much more slow and steady, where like they kind of put their feelers out where it makes sense, and they make the motions to move forward when it makes sense. So they are very much the slow and steady wins the race kind of nights. So if you are feeling like things are coming to a close, maybe that's because they have already started to happen and you've already been making those moves, and it's because you're in the process of technically closing chapters, whether you have recognized it or not. And death insinuates that. Death is our transitional card. This is the card of transformation. This is like, but don't think of death as like the scary, like, you know, Grim Reaper kind of thing. Think of it more as the butterfly coming out, or um, the butterfly coming out of its cocoon, right? It went in a caterpillar, went through its metamorphosis. There we go, and has come out better for having done so. That insinuates a little bit of a hibernation that has to happen. And selfishly, of course, I don't enjoy that. Carlos, hey, my queue is actually closed for the night, so I'm sorry. Sorry you missed me, but I will be back next Friday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard. Um, but yeah, so CJ, I feel like this is definitely, I think you're feeling the right things. This is definitely a transitional period. But with the Wheel of Fortune at the end of the reading, I think that this is really actually going to be a good thing for you in the long run. The Wheel of Fortune, on one side of the Wheel of Fortune, it really talks about the cycles that we go through. So we go through these cycles all the time, right? So it just insinuates that you were going through another one of those cycles where you have set some goals, you transition through them, you close that chapter out, and then rinse and repeat, right? There's also the other side of the Wheel of Fortune, which says, like, hey, things are looking up for you right now, and uh it kind of much more literally that of the Wheel of Fortune is saying, like, things are, luck is on your side. So if you have those ambitions and you have those goals, now's the time to start to, as the Knight of Pentacles, you put your feelers out, you kind of set some game plans, but the Wheel of Fortune is saying, maybe now's the time to do it and, like, come out of that little cocoon that you have set for yourself. Um, there's also, like, spiritually, this, I'm very much a free will girly, so I don't like to think of it as like this inevitable fate kind of thing, but it's more like you have set things up in such a way that this is the logical outcome. I think is how I would put it. It's the logical outcome of how things have gone, and all of the actions you've taken up to now. Uh So while I agree, I do think that this is signs that you are approaching some chapters. I think that this is a good chapter. I mentioned in a previous reading. I don't think you were here, but I mentioned in a previous reading where sometimes it feels like a chapter is closing, but like the book is closing, and like that's the end of it. This one feels more like you are closing a chapter and going into the next one, but still kind of like in the same genre of whatever book you're reading, if I'm using my book analogies poorly. um so I think that this is going to be an incremental transitional period, but what I'll be curious about is to see, obviously the new beginnings make so much sense, but I'm curious to see how it affects the friendships. That's the part that I would like to explore. I know. I can't get the eyes right. I don't know why she's very like Oh, okay. I think CJ, like, it takes me a while to get comfortable reading for people I know. It, like, stresses me out. So I feel like maybe Um, that's why it's taken a while for it to, like, sink in. But, I totally love that. I think you should totally, just take it in stride. I think that's a great way to put it. Have a good night. See you soon. Hopefully, I miss you. All right, son. Let's see. Let's see what's going on. I'm gonna kind of reframe this a little bit so it's not so yes or no. I'm gonna see what's going on and then kind of intuit like what you should do based off of that. 8 of Cups, Knight of Swords, King of Cups. Immediately, I feel like your energy is better focused on other things. The 8 of Cups is the start of your reading. This is about emotionally walking away from things that don't serve you. And I feel like, one of the things I like to tell people when I'm doing my readings is like, listen to the things that are going on in your mind as I start talking about things. And hey, Kat. I'm actually finishing up with my last reading for the night, so make sure to follow so you catch me next week. And yeah, I'm sorry you missed me. Oh, the eyes. Why are they doing that? So I think really like this is about you walking away and emotionally distancing yourself from the breakup and find ways to move on. So I think this is a balance that ways of moving on is a balance of being the Knight of Swords and the King of Cups. The Knight of Swords, he's a little like still impulsive, kind of like the Knight of Wands, but at least he's more of the ones where like where the Knight of Wands has like he's inspired by a lot. The Knight of Swords is more so like goes from thought to thought to thought. So just be careful about falling into that trap and getting lost in how you're feeling right now. Instead, make sure you put actions to move forward or take actionable things to move forward and try to think through things before. Yes, it has. Yes, Luna has. She's asleep under the desk. This has definitely been the longest I've been on, and I'm feeling it a little bit in this last reading here. Um, but I think that with the Knight of Swords, it's really like insinuating that you need to um, really just be a little more deliberate in things and but balance it out so you're not being so impulsive with how you're moving, right? So just because right now you're having a hard time moving on and stuff like that, I think it's a warning about jumping from thing to thing or trying to like you have one idea after the next about how you're going to try to reconnect with this person. I don't see it for you, right? And then we have the King of Cups here. I feel like both these court cards are two different facets of you. So the King of Cups is about finding that control. Kings in general kind of have that same air energy of swords. They're very logical. They are very thoughtful about how they do things. And the King of Cups is very logical about where his emotional energy is being focused. So I think that this really invites you to sit down and consider, like, where have you been focusing that energy? Has it been on this breakup? Has it been on about dwelling about this past relationship? And as I'm talking, I'm sure there are things that are coming into your mind where, like, oh wow, I'm really doing these things and like I really shouldn't. And yeah, and things that you can do to no longer fall into those traps are popping up. So that is where you come in to all of this, about being able to move forward, about being able to walk away from this thing. And I think that the Eight of Cups paired with the, or mirrored with the King of Cups, really tells you that, you have the strength and the know-how to move on. You just have to tap into that and you have to trust yourself. So I also like to tell people that sometimes my readings can be the catalyst to some of this energy. Other times it's something that you have to do. So I think the onus is on you now with how you're going to move on, right? With all of these things that I mentioned to you, what are some things that you can do to move on from this and heal from this and so forth? There are no healing cards in this, so that's something that you're lacking. There's no pentacles here, so there's no like stability or groundedness that's happening. So think of those things. What's missing? But yeah, I mean, if I were to intuit the rest of your questions, if he was the right one for you, probably not. And should you reach out to him? Honestly, I would not recommend it. Alrighty, guys. This is, as Ruby said, the longest I've ever been on. I'm totally feeling it right now, and I'm gonna get like a gallon of water and like fucking chug it. So, thank you all for joining. You're welcome, Sanaya. Thank you so much for hanging out tonight. Make sure you hit that notification bell, subscribe, hit that notification bell so you don't miss me next week. And guys, next week is a full moon, so I'm gonna pull out one of my moon decks as I do, if I remember. I don't know, I'll probably forget after I do this. But yeah, I'll see you next week, and yeah, have a great weekend. Bye, guys.